Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sally, the Rainy Day Gypsy, and I'm here today to video part 2 of our little Amelia journal, and I will link part 1 down below. So here she is. So we're going to put all the, we're going to junk up all the pages today. So that'll be the first thing we do. I'll leave her over here for reference. I want to show you the glues that I will be using. Sometimes you'll think I don't have a rhyme or a reason. And you'd be right. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. And I'll kind of tell you what I'm doing when. I'll also be using my little trusty ink distressing brush and Walnut Stain distressing ink. Okay, our first page is the large envelope. I have a supply list underneath, by the way. All these, all the papers can be downloaded on my Etsy site, which I'll link. There is a kit called the Amelia Kit for $4.75, and you can download everything you'll need, except the envelopes, of course, and laces and that sort of thing. But all the papers that are used in this project are in the kit. So today, I'm going to start with my large envelope. And instead of just doing the first page, that sort of thing, I'm going to do the whole envelope, all 4 sides, and then move on to the next one. So essentially, when we get halfway in our journal, everything's done. Okay, here we go. A little piece of corrugated cardboard. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on using the little glitter glue. And I like this one for this because it is corrugated and this glue gets down in the cracks and crevices. The glue stick would not get down in there as easily, I don't think. Okay, now I want to also get that stamp on there, so I'm going to use our little trusty glue stick, and I'm just going to put some glue right here. And I like how it goes over the area that I'm gluing, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So here we go. So let's just distress this little ink area, or this little stamp area, and I will show you what I mean. See how it kind of sticks to that glue around it and makes it look even more distressed and grungy? Now, my style is grungy, with this anyway. Not always, but I do like this little grungy. So if you don't like it that grungy, don't do so much distress. Okay, let's flip him over and see what we've got. Here we put Amelia, her little picture, which is in the kit. And I let her hang over the top just a bit. And I'm going to use my homemade washi tape, which I'm going to do a tutorial on. And I make the homemade washi tape so that it looks like old Scotch tape. That's what I like. So we're going to use a little of this on both sides of her. Just tape her in. And I cut it just the width of like a old Scotch tape would be. And I just tape her down. Now I also have a little piece of tulle and a button to put there. And I'm going to show you what I do with my buttons. I don't like a button that's just glued on. I like some thread on it. So I don't go through and sew the buttons like you normally would. I just go through and do this. And then glue them on. So I just go through, pull both the ends of the strands up through the button and tie it in a square knot, granny knot, whatever. And you can trim it if you want to, and you can distress it if you want to. Okay, so let's glue that on. I think I will trim that a little bit. And I'm going to use the fabric fix for this. Anytime I put on any little buttons or jewels or beads or anything like that, I will normally use this. It grabs fast and it sticks really well. And I'll just stick it right through the tulle. And hopefully it'll catch the tulle also. So let's let that dry while we go on to the back page. And this is where I would start collaging some of my papers that were in the kit that I did not use as whole papers. So I'm going to just rip some papers and start gluing them on. Okay, and you can let them hang over. This one I'm just going to take right to the edge of the envelope. So I'm going to go ahead with that. Let's see. Okay, so again, I'm going to go ahead and put my glue down, my glue stick. And put the papers down and come back later and distress, and you'll see that get a pretty good grunge line. So I don't, I printed my kit on tea-dye paper. So I don't go through and, when I'm collaging, I don't go through and distress every sheet. I lay them down, I glue them down, and then I distress. So right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim these up. And like I said, you don't have to do that. I'm not going to do that on all of them, but this one I am. And now let's distress, and let's see if we can get that grunge looking. Yep, there it is. I love it. Makes it really look old and used. And I would also take my little flat applicator brush and go along the edges. Okay. There's no science to this. It's kind of fun, but there is no science to this, just so you know. This one I'm going to put here, and I'm going to use a big rhinestone that I have. So I think I might use the fabric tack on the lace and on the rhinestone. Fabric fix, I guess it is. And on the lace, I doubt you need a ton of glue. And you don't need to even glue it all the way down. Okay. Now we have the back side of the envelope to do. And I put a key there. And this is kind of drawing, but I'll show you what we did. Oh, you know what I did not do? I didn't stamp this. So let's get out our ink stamps. This is the one I use for a lot of things. I love this. Cavallini, I think it is. Got it on Amazon. Let's use this one. It comes with its own little stamp, ink stamp. So that looks pretty good. Okay. And then we'll decorate this with some things in part 3 when we finish it up. Let's see, what have we got going on the back? While I've got my ink out, well, actually stamps out, I'm going to go ahead and do the back of the envelope. I just took a big text stamp and I used black ink. And I'm just going to do some of the edges like this. This is on the very back. Then I'm going to do a little key back here. Isn't that cute? Now, I maybe could get these things off. I don't know if I want them off, but I think I'm going to try. I'm just going to use my little bead tool. And take that little loop off. There we go. Now, I don't want to just glue that on. I think that might look kind of funny, so I'm going to go ahead and use some of this stuff. And it's mostly just fake because I'm eventually going to glue it on, but I want it to look like it was sewn on. So let's just take some and do a little sewing. But it's for decorative only. And then let's just follow the key down here and let's do one down here. Oops. Okay, there we go. Now I will trim that off and I will glue that on. And I'm going to use the fabric fix again for this one. And quite a big goob-a-doo there, a big goob of glue there, so that it'll grab that key underneath the lace. And while this is drying, we're going to set it aside and start on the other one. Okay, so there's number 1, page 1. Okay, next one. The next one is just this page that you get in your kit. And in Amelia part 1, we went ahead and we printed it out on tea dyed paper, and then I went ahead and showed you tear off the end, fold it, distress it. That's all you do to that one. That's our second page. That one was easy. Small envelope. Goes this way. Oh, I'm sorry, goes this way. And so I need an address there. I did not type anything on there this time. So what I'm going to do is take this sheet that's in your kit. I'm going to cut out this really pretty name right there, and actually I'm going to tear it out, and I am going to use that as the address. So let's just do that. Some of it will show a lot, some of it will be covered by some other things. So save those papers for our collaging. Oh, I cut that too close. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and use the glue stick. I'm going to glue down the stamp. And you can mix your stamps up. You can do anything you want to. You don't need to do just exactly what I do, but you can. I believe I'm going to put this one in my, I hadn't folded this one yet. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my Etsy store, so it'll be there for sale if anyone wants it. I'll try and get it in there today. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and distress that right there because I hadn't folded it yet. We want to fold this in half. Well, I want to distress it inside and outside. And this is a tea-dyed envelope. Okay, so on this side, I'm going to go ahead and collage some things. And I'm going to go ahead and tear this off. And put that right there. And I don't try and be really straight or anything, as you can see, because I like that look. If you like a more defined or neat and tidy look, do your thing. Okay, and on this one I have gone ahead and done, see, he's going to get covered up. Sorry, guy. This one and this. So on these two, let's use this little glue. This is just a cut off little piece, and like I say, I'll have the supplies list below. But this is just, I think this is a piece of an old linen tablecloth that I got somewhere that was stained. And I just tore it up. And this little rose trim, you can get at Joann's or Hobby Lobby or anywhere like that. Okay, I want to put a cancellation stamp on that stamp. I'm sticking to things. And then let's distress the top of this envelope with our fluffy brush. And if you want to leave these hanging over, which I think I might do, kind of distress the backs. He doesn't want to be there, so we'll just rip him off. How do you know? Because I asked it. Okay, so there's the front of that envelope. Let's turn it over and do the back. And there again, I'm going to use papers in the kit. So we're going to start with this little green piece, and I'm just going to go ahead and rip it right about down the middle. And I'm going to glue that there. I'm going to take a piece of our little downloadable book page, and I'm going to put that there. We'll have a stamp. Let's start with that. I think I goobed this glue up so badly from the get-go that, and I think I'll let this one hang over on the ends. Since the envelope is ripped, I'm going to rip that. Oh, I think that's going to look good when I distress it too. I like that. And the stamp. Okay. Okay, let's distress. Actually, let's not. Let's do the other side. Let's do, I went ahead and did a little piece of napkin. Any napkin that you like, you can play with. I'm going to go ahead and just tear a little piece. Now, if you've never used napkins, you only use the top layer of your napkin. Sometimes napkins come in 2 and sometimes 3 layers. Tear off those bottom layers so that you'll see through it. It ends up looking just like tissue paper, which is cool. And I'm going to put that there. And when you're working with napkin, you can crease it or get tucks in it and stuff. So be kind of careful with that. Handle it carefully, I guess. Unless you like those little creases and tucks, which are kind of cool too. I'll tear that off. Okay. And there's also a little piece of paper over here. And we'll do that. And we'll do here. So Sheila was here yesterday and she did her Amelia Part 1 tutorial. And while she was working, she dipped her glue stick in her distress ink and my gosh, it made a mess. It really made a mess. And besides that, then she got the giggles, so, it was crazy. Okay, let's go ahead and distress both these little sides of the envelope here. If you leave something like this hanging over and in the end you don't like it, tear it off or tear it shorter, whatever you want to do. Okay, now I have, let's go back to this page. Now we'll need a little snippet of lace about the length of the envelope from tear to corner there. Doesn't have to be real straight. And I'm going to glue that along there. And I'm going to use, I think I'll use the glitter glue. And that hangs below. Okay, and over here I used a leaf. Just a leaf that I got out in the yard earlier in the year. And then let him dry. That one's pretty big for that. I like that one. I didn't have another little leaf. Should I try it? Let's do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this glue just because it might really need, it's kind of crinkly and it might really need some powerful stuff going on. And then, then again, it might just all crackle up, so I don't know, we'll see. Oh, he already did. And then I'm going to put a little bit of Mod Podge over that. Ooh, so far so good. I like it. I like it, I like it. This little stem might eventually get torn off because of opening and closing the journal. But that's okay. It's supposed to look old, right? Okay, I'm going to use some Mod Podge on that. Just Mod Podge. There was a thing on, I think it was Facebook the other day about, it's Mod Podge, not Mod Podge. And I had to really think carefully, oh my gosh, have I been calling it Mod Podge all these years? And to this day, I don't know if I was or not, but I do know now that I'm calling it Mod Podge. And this will dry clear, as most of you probably know. But I kind of like that look. Okay, I have 3 little jewels to glue on there, and then this page is done. This envelope is done. I shouldn't say page, because this is actually 4 pages. But, okay, so let's glue on the 3 little rhinestones. And I am using gold because this whole journal is kind of whites, creams, and gold. So I'm just sticking with the program here and doing gold. And I will use the fabric fix to put those on there. And let's do them right. Let's do them here. 3 little dots of glue should do it. And they don't have to be spaced evenly or anything. I like the look when they're not. So I don't like to make my things real matchy or anything like that. Okay, we're going to set this one aside because he's very wet, so off he goes. Okay, so let's start with the music sheet itself. What I did on this one, because the music sheet was this tall, this big, that is in your kit, I folded it up on the bottom. And you can make a pocket out of that if you'd like, whatever you want to do there. You could glue these sides down, make a pocket. In fact, I think I'll do that right now. I think I'm going to use this one. Just glue your sides down and that way you have a place to put some little notepads or little tuck cards or whatever. And okay, so that's done. Now here again I used napkin. I used some napkin pieces. So let's go ahead and do that. There's a cute little bird. If we could get part of him. Or her. She kind of looks like a her. Sorry. And we'll put her down right there. Oh, actually, we're going to put her over here. No, we'll put her here. There again, carefully smooth her so she doesn't get all wrinkled up. She's cute. Okay, and maybe another little piece of napkin. Oh, here's a little sunflower. I'll use that. Tear off that factory edge. Let's do that right there. Now I can already see a problem with my next the next thing I'm doing, because we did a pocket here with the music sheet, and this little thing goes there and makes its own pocket. So I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to keep this as a pocket over here, but I'm going to glue this one down. And just have it for decoration. And this one I'm just going to tear off a little bit. And I want to keep that little bird showing. So let's make a pocket. Let's glue this side and this side down and make a pocket. So you can put something in there if you'd like to. And on the other page, let's just keep this open. Let's put a little piece of washi tape up there. My homemade washi tape. When I do that tutorial, oops, I think Sheila's going to help me do this tutorial. It's fun, and it's kind of creative, so hope you'll come back and follow along with that. Okay, so here's your pocket. Let's ink things up. Hit that glue. Okay, there's that one. Now let's flip that one over and see what we do. Okay, it's pretty. I love these numbers and stuff on here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we need a piece of tulle a little longer than the length of the music sheet. Let's put that down with a little of this, very little of this. Just enough that it'll catch it, because we're going to glue something over it. Okay, then we're going to cut this just about the same size as the paper. And we're going to glue that on. Now, I think I might trim these. May have looked better without. And I'm going to hang this over about 1/2 inch. Oops. Ooh, maybe we'll do it on this. We'll just show them who's boss. And you don't need a ton, because this stuff is strong. And I don't want it bleeding through the lace. And because you're hanging it over 1 inch, don't put it clear to the edge like I did. Okay. There you are. Now I have 3 buttons here that I'm going to glue on. Like that, and I'm going to use this fabric fix again. It's football day at the Bell household. And my team isn't playing today, but it's the playoffs, and some of the teams, I'm rooting against some of the teams that will be hard for my team to beat. So I can hear them screaming in there. I don't know who's winning. I think Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints are playing right now. Okay, you know what I'm going to do too? Oops. Kind of glued to the table. Told you. I'm going to go ahead and stamp some stuff there just to make it look kind of cool. Back to our little text stamp. Okay, all right, left-hand side. We're going to use this, and I thought this was pretty, just like this. However, it's too long, but I want to keep the Standard Oil logo there because I like the color in it. So I'm going to tear that off, and I'm going to put that right there. So let's do it. I'm going to put a little piece of Scotch tape, also known as homemade washi tape. I just put him there like I taped that down. We're going to use this. This is in your kit. Oops. Okay, let's distress. See that? Okay, now our next step is something a little bit different. We're going to do this. So you will need, and it is listed in your supply list, some of this seam binding that you can buy. I get mine on Amazon again. We're kind of out in the boonies here and don't have a lot of, if I want to go to a Joann or a Michael's, I have to drive about 45 minutes. If I want to go to a Hobby Lobby, I have to drive about 3 hours. So, needless to say, when I do go to Hobby Lobby, I load up pretty good. Okay, I envy you people that have a Hobby Lobby near you so you can hit the sales at different times. Okay, so I cut a piece that's about, 1.5 inches longer or wider than my paper. And I use a trusty little pokey tool. I'm sure you have something like that. And give it a pretty good squirt of the fabric fix. Don't go easy on it because you want it to look kind of, you want the glue to kind of look like it smushed it in parts, or at least I do. Okay, then just start laying it down and smushing as you go. And then here comes a little pokey tool, and it'll kind of smush it also. Try not to get glued to it, which is a feat in itself. Lay down. I got a lot of glue on this and on my fingers. All right. When it's crinkled like this, it's easier because it's all smooshed for you. Now, how I crinkle it is I give it a real good squirt of tea dye water out of a spray bottle. And then I squeeze it up like this and just leave it till it's dry. Okay, there's that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to glue some seed beads onto that. And you can see mine isn't straight. That's okay, I like it. If you don't, straighten it up. And I'm going to put some little seed beads in there. And I'm going to use this glue. It dries clear. And I'm just going to put some little daubs here and there where I want some seed beads. And it's kind of fun to put them in the little pockets where the ribbon makes some little pockets. So try not to dump the whole thing of beads, but try and get some on there. Okay, so Sally, dump the whole thing of beads. And then just smush them in with your finger. And then, of course, pick up the others. Now, here's another little trick that I use, my plastic bone folder, and just push them in, because if you do this with your fingers, you'll just stick to it. Okay. Now, I'll clean these up. Next one is this little guy in your kit. There's not a whole lot to him. I tore this one, so I put some washi tape on it, but you don't have to do that. Okay, so what I did on this one, just folded it in half and distressed the crease. Everything else we distressed. Well, I guess I distressed that, but I want to distress the inside crease. And I glued a stamp right here. This one has enough personality that we don't need to do a whole lot to this piece of paper. It's just cool in its own right. Let's just distress that a little bit. Then on the back side, I did some stamping. Let's do that. I'm going to use the little confidential tool or stamp in here. I like it. This is a really cool set. Cavallini and Company. And on this side, I'm going to use that little seine that was in your kit, and I'm going to tear around it. And then I'm going to ink. Well, I'll go ahead and glue it on and then ink. We'll put it up at the top. Then I'm going to use a little bit of tissue paper or napkin. This is kind of cute because it has that same, similar little bird. This is not a napkin, this is some Tim Holtz tissue paper. So I'm going to use this. But first I'm going to use this underneath. So that's what I'm going to do right there. And this one's going to be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to use the fabric fix, but I'm not going to put a whole lot on. Barely skim the surface and hope that holds it. And then I'm going to tear this and put this little bird on. Oh, I just tore his head off. But I'm going to use him anyway. I think I can. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to put glue on him here because of that metal mesh. And try not to rip his head off again. There. Put a little more glue on this. Maybe I should try this. I wonder. It dries clear too. No, let's try the other. Okay, let's ink that up, and that page is done too. Be careful with your little bird head. Oh, I like that when I go over that mesh. Isn't that cool? Yeah, he's sticking down now as he lifts up. No, he's doing good. Okay, another one done. That was an easy peasy. We're going to use this. And you'll need some lace and a decorative button. And let's do this side first. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this lace on. And I guess we want him hanging over because we don't want it into the seam of the journal. So let's do that. And there again, I'm going to go ahead and use this stuff. And you don't have to use a ton of it because you don't want it really soaking through your lace too much. And then this is a button that I got at Joann's a long time ago. And I just snipped the little, it had those little prong things. I guess it's not really a button, it was a brad type. Not a brad either, but you know what I mean. We're going to go ahead and put this right in the center. And put the butterfly up. Oh! There. Okay. All right, let's flip it over and do the next page, the other side. This one, I have this little notes. Like I say, it's in your kit, and I'm going to cut it out. Not going to tear this one, I'm just going to cut it out. No rhyme or reason, just 'cause. And I'm going to glue that to the top of the right-hand page. And that's where that button is underneath that's drawing, so I'm going to be kind of careful. Okay, so my lid decided it wanted to glue to the stick. And on this page, we're going to go ahead and use some of these little roses. And I believe I will tear this section. And I'll cut that off. And let's put that down there. kind of misguessed that. And let's do another little piece of roses up in the corner. There we are. Now let's ink that up. And we're going to use this little piece of music paper. While I'm inking this, I'm going to ink that because I don't want to ink over the lace we're going to do over it or under it. That really looks grunge. Okay. Now you'll need another little snippet of lace. That's kind of long. And I'm going to put that on with the fabric fix. I'm kind of finding that does lace better than, it's quicker. So for a tutorial, it's kind of nice. And then your little snippet of music paper. And then a button with your thread. There it is. So let's let this one dry. Nothing on the front. So let's flip it over and do this. I kept the other side of that little green chef man. And I'm going to tear some more off him. And I'm going to glue that here. First I'm going to put down some funky washi tape that I made. And put that down first. And I'm going to put it over the seam of this whole thing because I believe it'll get a lot of abuse when we put the binding in, or the threads. So I want to go ahead and reinforce that more or less. I don't want any washi tape hanging over, grabbing everything it sees. Then I'm going to go ahead and put this little chef man down. There's something about that green that I really love. That's a pretty green. I don't know if you call it acid green, but it's pretty, and it's in your kit. And I'm going to trim him off top and bottom. Stamp goes over here while we're gluing. Let's do the stamp. And let's do this on this side. And I'm going to hang this over top and bottom, and I'm going to run it right to the edge. Let's trim these. Leave this one hanging. And let's ink. Now, another thing. We'll ink this, but I'm going to flip it over and ink this side too. This side that's hanging over. One more thing on this one. 3 of these little guys. It can be any lace snippet. I thought this was cute. So I'm using this one. I happen to have a lot of it. I got it at a thrift store. There again, I'm going to use the Fabric Fix. So it's kind of vintage. It's not, I don't think it's antique, it's more vintage. I think it's closer to my era when mothers made clothes and that sort of thing. I might be wrong, but. Okay, now, in your supply list, I did ask you to get a little pen nib, and you can get these from Tim Holtz. This one happens to be an antique, but I'm going to go ahead and glue this on there. You can glue a button or a charm, anything you want. The problem with these things, you can see they take a lot of glue. So I just really kind of fill it up and hope that it sticks. They always do, and I got enough glue on there for the army, but maybe that's what it takes. Okay, here's our little pile of finished pages, and it will fold into a book like this. And in part 3, which will be coming shortly, I'm going to show you how to sew it together, embellish the front, maybe do a little embellishing inside, and finish it up. So here it is. You can put these in your book in any order you prefer. This is my order. Doesn't have to be yours. There's my leaf. So there she is. All right, so stay tuned for part 3, and we'll finish little Amelia up. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure and look at the links below and your supply list, and let us know what you've done. Thank you. Bye-bye.